we will get started. What do I want to talk about? What's up, guys? My name is Richard Terrell. I go by Kirby Kid. You are watching DO Live. This is a daily stream in which we talk about game design. Design oriented is the main brand here, but we have a Discord, a blog, a website, and we put these stream videos on YouTube so you never have to miss them. Everything goes by design oriented. You can find the link to our Discord on the Twitter at design oriented. We're doing Smash Brothers talk all week, so this is like beginning of week 2-ish, right? But we have like 3 or 4 weeks of this stuff coming, and I have a bunch of topics. The last time I went over my Smash resume, I've done a lot with Smash. You can kind of see it here, but the one I added, I forgot, is I did a talk at Indiecade a few years ago. Feels like such a long time ago, maybe 4 years ago, entitled "How Kirby and Smash Brothers Helped Me Design Better Games." So yeah, that was a fun story. I might actually re-give this talk on a stream one of these days if I can get a small audience and kind of interact with them. But the basic idea behind that was, you know, playing competitive Smash, digging deep into the game, really asking myself tons of questions over the years, and being a part of a growing community really taught me to look at games in a new way, in a deeper way, in a competitive way, and really define that entire spectrum. And now my perspective on Smash isn't just from a competitor's point of view, but I feel like I've gone, you know, to the highest level, and I've gone to the most casual, lowest level, and I appreciate all the different types for all different ways. So, I mean, one of my favorite Smash events, one of my favorite times smashing, I'll tell you, is I was visiting a friend in Utah, and you know, it happens all the time. Like, hey, these guys play Smash, and whenever people talk about, you know, whenever people have friends who are competitive Smashers, they always tell their friends like, oh, they're so good, they're competitive Smashers, they never lose. Well, yeah, to casuals, just about any tournament player never loses. But it's kind of funny how that information propagates, and when you're in town, they're like, oh, they said they wanted to play Smash with you, can we get it to happen? You're like, yeah, that sounds fun, I'll play Smash with anybody. And we go over to this like stranger's house. You know, they knew my friend, but I didn't know these people at all. And they were like newly married, you know, first, maybe second year of marriage, and we were playing Smash. What was that? Brawl, right? Yeah, it was Smash Brawl. It's crazy. We were playing Brawl on their TV. And everyone was obviously at different skill levels, but one of the most fun things that we did was I just make up games on the fly. Being a game designer, I'm like, you know what? Game design always seeks, if it can't find it, but at least seeks to find an answer to resolve problems. And the more problems that you identify, the more clearly you understand those problems, the better you can fix them. And I was sitting there with my brother, you know, pro player, my friend, who's, you know, just competitive at general things and good at games, and then these two people who are somewhat casual, probably below them. And I was like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. We have 5 or 6 people sitting here trying to play a 4-player game, so we're gonna do this thing where we play free-for-all. And when we play free-for-all, the lowest player, the player who gets 4th place in the free-for-all based on timed stock, right, sits out a match and rotates in for the person who wasn't playing. And you're like, oh, that's terrible, they're not playing a game. Like, no, hold on, this is really cool. How do we play it? This is really cool. What do we do? So we made it to where it wasn't time stock. I forgot. It was actually stamina. And these are some of the most least played modes in Smash Brothers. But Sakurad's always like, I want you to find your own fun. And for moments like this, I'm super glad that he put in all these options. So we played stamina, and you have hit points. When you first jump into the match, you know, your first round, you start off with 150 hit points. And every time you get first place, you stay at 150 hit points. If you get second place, you drop 10 hit points down the ticks. If you get third place, you drop 20 hit points down on the little amount. And if you get 4th place, you drop 30, but then you sit out a match, right? So in 2 rounds, the person who got 4th place at most will lose 30 points. But if you get like a 2nd place and a 3rd place, you're going to lose 30. Hey, it's balanced. If you get 2 3rd places, you lose 40. But then you got to play constantly. And if you got 1st place both times, you lose nothing. So clearly, you know, getting 4th place and taking a break and sitting back and enjoying the matches is not the worst thing in the world. It was actually a ton of fun. So we played this thing where you go lower and lower in stock. And that was fun because in free-for-all, I say all the time, here, I'll show you. I wrote an article I've written an article on almost everything. But I wrote an article about the best way to design free-for-all games, right? And a lot of people are like, oh, free-for-all, it's so uncompetitive, it's so wild. Yes, but like I said before, design always looks to solve these problems and solve them in an interesting way that's fun. So I wrote this article, beautiful mind, John Nash. He talked about game theory, which really is talking about how, what is it, intelligent, rational decision makers, you know, make decisions in situations. It talked a little bit about king making, which is a sort of a negative thing that happens in free-for-all games when a person can't win, but based on their actions they can make another person win or definitely make another player lose. That's kind of like a jerk move, but you know, you take all this into account, and some of the things I concluded in this article was telling the player and guiding them to a better experience is what design is here to do, even for a free-for-all situation. And I said, like, okay, telling people who's in the lead is actually a good thing for free-for-all. Because you don't want a situation where one guy's in the lead, and instead of contesting that lead and taking that into account with your risk-reward evaluation, you just, like, pick on some person that there's no way they could win, and you picking on them is actually getting you further away from the goal. Kind of like in Mario Kart, where frickin' first place is just zooming away, and then second, third, and fourth place keep hitting each other with red shells. Like, you need to work together to send attacks at first place, or you will never ever win. And like, it's just so hard to get into people's skulls. So showing them a little bit of giving some feedback and telling them who's in the lead and kind of incentivizing going after that person is a good thing. Even though it kind of feels like you're telling everyone to gang up on the person, well, yes, you kind of are, because they're in the lead in a free-for-all situation, and from there, it's up to you. So, whoever has the most hit points in the Smash Stamina match, you know, obviously you want to go after them. But after you take a few hits, you know, whoever has the most hit points is whoever has the biggest number down there. You may start off with 150, get hit by a bomb, get double teamed, triple teamed, whatever, and all of a sudden you're down to 30 hit points really fast. So, it's up to you to do whatever at that point. So that's really fun. We played that mode, it was fun. I think there was one more crazy wrinkle on it. So we were really good at the game, and we were like, okay, well, it's not fair for us to kind of play our mains all the time and just kick butt. So I added this rule. I'm like, okay, now we're going to work our way down the character line. And you start off at 150 or whatever, and you kind of work your way down, and you're trying to get all the way from, like, I forgot how the brawl layout looked at. Let me just pull it up. Why not? Brawl character select screen. Can't believe that's what it looked like. Ah, it's been so long. I hate it how Google Images doesn't let you, like, immediately zoom into the picture. You're like, come on. Do I have to download an extension for this garbage? And then you have to scroll down the stupid web page to find it. But hey, that's just me griping right now. Okay, check this out. What does the stream look like? So we had this, and the goal was to, like, start with, like, Lucas and work your way backwards, and every time you get first place you're forced to play, like, another character on the chain. And it was really interesting putting all these roles together. It came down to some really exciting conclusion where when you're down to 1 hit point, because it's stamina, and stamina goes, like, you can set it up really high, but the lowest setting you can do stamina is 1 hit point. You have 1 hit, you can die so easily. So then I added this one rule. I'm like, well, if you have 1 hit point, it's pretty obvious you should gang up on everybody else. And there was a point where the first place player had around, like, 40, 50 hit points, and there was 3 other people in the match with 1 hit points, because, you know, different skill levels of the players. And we were playing random characters. We weren't going on the line. We were playing random characters. So you could get whatever character you want at any match, and you just never know who you're gonna be. It's just so funny. We had one of the casual players, random Zelda, and she had 1 hit point, and everyone else, the leader had like 30, 40 hit points, and we're like, it's over. This leader is never gonna beat these people. But then somehow she pulled it off with 1 hit point. Her and the other 2 1 hit pointed characters and players survived against this other guy, and actually pulled out a win on that match, and kind of brought everyone down to almost 1 hit point for an exciting finish. But just by tweaking the rules, Weaker players were able to compete with stronger players. Weaker players didn't make themselves more weak by ganging up against each other. They were incentivized to tackle the stronger players, whoever those players would be. Every player had to adapt and play on their toes because we were all playing random characters. It was a lot of fun. Whenever you lose hard because you played, like, you've got Olimar, you're like, I have no idea how to play Olimar. Well, you lose 30 points and then you sit out for a bit, and then you know, all the other health point values kind of come down to meet you, so it's never that bad, and it was just a ton of fun. I remember laughing so hard, and all these crazy exciting things were happening because you don't even know what character you're gonna get. But that's just one of the mini modes that we played in Smash, and the options you get in Smash are a big deal. The modes that you can play are a big deal. The kinds of experiences that I've had, even playing 8-player Smash in different contexts, just so fun. So many crazy things have happened. So many things that have happened only once in my entire lifetime of playing Smash. Some things are kind of glitchy and I've never been able to reproduce it, and other things were just a crazy coming together of like 18 perfect storms, so to speak. That's a bit of an exaggeration. So I guess I want to just hit a quick topic today because it's Sunday and I don't need to be here too late. I gotta wake up, go to work tomorrow. So I want to address one of these. What do I want to do? I just watched Hyrule Saga. You know, congrats to Tweak. And then Mr. R with the Sheik, not quite breaking the curse. So no Zelda character won in the Hyrule Saga Super Smash Bros. 4 themed tournament that they had in California this weekend. Yeah, we're not quite into metagame stuff. I kind of want to move this one all the way up to there. I'll just talk about the auto cancel system. Okay, cool. So I wrote before and made some notes, and I said, you know what? When you're playing Smash, you're going to need a whole bunch of interesting different ways to differentiate your characters. Like, everyone can't move the same, obvious. Everyone can't be the same weight, okay. Everyone can't have the same attacks, obvious. But there's a lot of there's a lot more subtle ways you have to differentiate characters in Smash, even beyond that. Like, what am I playing on? Okay, grab the gamepad. So we're kind of talking about design space real quick and putting things in the context of what makes characters different. But I'm gonna show you just like a base character, and then I can explain what I mean by auto-canceling is a superior L-canceling system. So we'll go with, I mean, I love Mario, we can do some Sonic. Sonic's cool too. I love Pac-Man, but that can come later. Who can I beat up? I always beat up Rob and Donkey Kong, such a bad habit. And it really gets you in the habit of not knowing how to hit any of the other characters. And playing too much training mode anyway is a bad habit. But let's just go to a cool Sonic level. Okay, so Smash Brothers, you gotta figure out a way to make all these characters look and feel different. You know, dash dance range, the window in which they can do this makes them look and feel different. Sonic doesn't have a very big dash dance range, so he's more likely to do these cool turnarounds, and with his speed, that makes him look cooler than doing this. Like, this doesn't look cool. This looks cool. Beautiful animation. You know, you got different ranges on your attacks, different damages, you know, different animations, different how long these attacks are. Like this one, when it hits, it's pretty long, right? Every character has different specials, we know that. Every character has different grabs, and even though all the grabs are the same basic directions, like up, down, left, right, like they all do different things. Some kill when you use it, some set up for combos, and some just toss people around like Pac-Man's pathetic grabs. Pathetic. Oops, didn't mean to do that. So, another way that you need to differentiate characters is not just what their attacks look like and how much damage they do, but how they move through space. That's a big deal. In Smash Brothers, unlike Street Fighter, like right now we look pretty large on the screen, right? Like, alright, Rob's taking up a good, what would you call that? 1/12, 1/10 of the screen. Sonic is thin, but you're never this close just chilling in Smash. Usually some person's up here, some person's down there, some person's edge guarding, people are jumping in neutral, and you're gonna get about this far zoomed back. So if this were Street Fighter, the characters would be much larger on the screen at this point, and they would be able to I wish I could draw a crazy picture. Let me just get an image of Street Fighter 5. Give me a widescreen picture, you idiots. So I can show people what the proportions look like. Come on. Okay. Dimension, new tab. Okay, here we go. So I'm gonna click back over desktop region. So this is Street Fighter, just a standard view of what the screen looks like that. Look how big Birdie is. He's way bigger than Rob, even when I zoomed in on Smash. And look how big Chun-Li is. Maybe about the same size as Rob, maybe a little bigger. Clearly going from the near bottom of the screen halfway, beyond halfway, and that's just Chun-Li right there. This is what Street Fighter looks like most of the time, even when characters jump. It's mainly this kind of proportionate aspect ratio. And look at Smash. Look at these, like, playing with little toys. So this is an issue that I call fidelity, and a lot of designers and a lot of people who talk about games don't even consider this, but it's a big deal. When you're playing, you want to see stuff, and it sounds simple, but it's really complicated. When you're looking like this little low tilt, if that little swooshing effect wasn't there, you'd probably have a harder time seeing it. And Sakurai in N64, since it's not as high resolution of a system, and it was on the 4:3 aspect ratio, enlarged the fists. Let me see if I can show you that as well. Smash 64 large fists. Let's see if that even yields anything that I want. But Smash 64, Brawl, and I think to a lesser degree Melee, Sakurai designed it to where the limbs of the characters stretched and enlarged, so that even though you're viewing it from very far away, it was pretty obvious like which limb hit. Smash 4 doesn't have that. I don't think it has it hardly at all. Let me see if it zooms in. Speed. Let's do this. It looks like it enlarges just slightly. Yeah, so see that right there? I can't move the camera. That's lame. But see the fist? It's like it grew, and it's pretty subtle. And it gets smaller right there. Let's see if I down tilt if it makes my foot grow. I don't know if the down tilt makes the foot grow. That's pretty much growing. Does that look like it grew? Come on, do another down tilt. I can't even time this. Could be growing, so regardless, it's subtle. And in the other Smashes, it was pretty obvious and pretty big. So, so this Smash uses HD, graphics and these swooshes and these special effects, so you can see things happening and clearly understand the relationship between the motion and the hitboxes, because these animations are still fast no matter how you slice it. So we're talking about fidelity. We want to see things happening on the screen, and if the game would just all play like with jabs and stuff and tilts and like angle tilts, you'd be able to see it pretty well. And obviously we see it now, but what you really want is to have attacks take up more of the screen and be even more obvious. So what I like to kind of picture is, if this were Street Fighter 5, character sweep would essentially be about from here to here. So like maybe that's a dash attack, right? Like a huge sweep in Street Fighter 5 would take up that much screen space. Sonic has a pretty big dash attack. But let's say a character wanted a low medium punch, maybe it would hit about here if they were crouching, right about there where that flower is. But let's say a character wanted to standing, like straightforward jab punch, it might hit, right about here. That's if you would imagine like a large character on the screen, their punch would be where Sonic's foot is. So a short hop aerial is essentially where a standing Street Fighter character would be attacking. So kind of matching up where these elements happen on the screen gives you a good idea about how attacks need to take up different amounts of space and differentiate themselves. So like, okay, well, what would an anti-air like upward punch in Street Fighter look like? It may look like this. It may hit here on the screen as somebody jumps in. Like, oh, that's cool. And then maybe a jumping attack in Street Fighter would be up there. So like, oh, if you just kind of think about things in terms of what spaces things are sweeping out, in Smash, instead of in Street Fighter you stand still and extend a hitbox and go there, but in Smash you extend your entire character there, and that by doing so and thinking about that, you can get a sense of all the variety of movement and the variety of moves and how they fit together. More importantly, so what auto canceling does is, I've tried this before when I compared Brawl and Melee, but Melee L canceling is really powerful. I mean, it's more powerful than Smash 64, but Melee L canceling is still really powerful. So what you have is characters who, for the majority of how their playstyle has worked itself out, will put pressure like close to the ground and then slam down to the ground, right? Like right here, and like do a lot right here, short hop right here, and like try to get down the ground as soon as possible. But as you can see with Sonic, he's eating a lot of landing lag. This back here has a ton of landing lag. His forward air has a lot of landing lag. So you're like, oh. But in Melee, a lot of characters are fast like that. They put a pressure on. Like, that's great for Melee style pressure. But what it does do is concentrate a lot of the gameplay right here on the screen. Like low, pokey, like short moves. And when you're trying to make a game with more than just 6 viable characters, when you're trying to actually balance a game with 50 plus viable characters, or Smash Ultimate's 70 estimate that people are estimating, you're going to need characters to have more pros and cons in how they move and sweep out attacks in all the areas, right? And if it's only right here and short to the ground, you just don't have enough design space to make all the characters different. And that's why I think games like Project M just really shot themselves in the foot. A lot of the characters play and look the same because they essentially took a playstyle from Melee that only exists for a few characters and then tried to expand that playstyle for the entire cast. So they sped everybody up and like gave characters shines like Fox has that never needed it. Like Lucas has a shine and he can cancel it, and like it just got crazy too fast. And they just really, I mean, if that was the goal for what they were creating, congrats, they hit that. But I don't like Project M. I don't consider it to be a Smash game. It's just an interesting, playable sort of thought experiment, really. So we're talking about Smash 4, we're talking about Smash in general, and what I love about auto canceling is, instead of L canceling this and making this viable and just having all characters focus here, well, now Sonic's back here, what you want to do is not fast forward it, so that the animation, you can clearly see it wrapping up. We'll zoom in and do this 4-speed. You can see the animation clearly wrap up and his feet are landed, he gets his feet right underneath him just in time so that it looks like he does a smooth landing just like that. The animation looks amazing, by the way. So, for Sonic's offense, he actually needs to get the opponent to be here, right, in the air. Surprisingly enough, you can drive it down to the ground, but it's much less safe. Sometimes you got to do unsafe things. Sometimes you can get away with it, but in general, this is the much more mobile, safe version. So Sonic's approach, it's the same with his forward air. If he does it to the ground, look how laggy that is. Like, I'll shield to show you. Yeah. So that's pretty laggy. That's why no Sonics like to do that. Their Sonic's whole approach isn't based on slamming moves in the ground, but they're based on this spin ball, running people over, making these huge sort of spin ball jumps, coming back around, coming down, spin ball jump, coming back, spin ball jump. Wait, why can't I do it? Spin ball jump, come back around. What is this button? There we go. And then spin balling back, yeah, something like that. So by limiting the effectiveness of attacks in certain areas, and even it makes players and characters build their playstyle around different areas of space, and then that's when the game starts getting interesting, because you're like, if I know Sonic only likes to approach either rushing on the ground, which you can kind of prepare for and hear the sound effect and react, or this in the aerial, right, besides, dash and grab, then you can approach Sonic by crouching and like staying low to the ground, or maybe attempting a low tilt or a forward tilt that makes you crouch low like Sonic's forward tilt. If you do that and he attacks high, I wish I could control both of these at once. There's no way I can do that. But you can just imagine if Sonic attacks high like this and the other Sonic attacks low like this, the two hitboxes would miss each other and they'd sort of be like fighting in the space in between. That's kind of a really crucial thing to recognize when we talk about footsies, but just keep that in mind for now. Mike says, it hurts my feelings that Ultimate is going to make Smash 4 dead. Yeah, well, Ultimate is pretty much Smash 4.5. Smash 4 needed to balance Bayo. Smash 4, I mean, all the games could use some tweaks, so like that's a good thing as well. And if Ultimate manages to bring in more players like from the Melee community or whatever, and just survive on a more popular system, then that's ultimately going to be good. Yeah, they already nerfed Bayo. That's what you mean before? You think the before nerf was enough, or the nerf that they have in Ultimate? People, yeah, we'll get to a lot of the complaints that people have made. But yeah, Ultimate, I think Smash 4 is a game that's complex enough and deep enough to last, I mean, obviously 15 plus years. So I hope that the majority of what we've learned and do in Smash 4 just kind of carries over to Ultimate. And then I hope we don't get another Smash game for a long time, because really Sakurai is the only one that can make these games, and I really want him to move on to a different project, because Kid Icarus Uprising is one of my favorite games of all time, and he just made that up and built that out of nowhere. So yeah, as much as I love Smash, I don't need more Smash when I'm playing and fully enjoying Smash, if that makes any sense. Okay, so we're talking about auto cancels, and we're talking about how sometimes it makes characters fight in lanes and poke in areas and specific shapes that are above the ground. And that's one reason why I love auto canceling. You know, clearly there's a risk reward here. Do I keep mobile and try to make you hit the top of your head like this? Like, look at Rob. I can barely back air him in the face right here, but if he ducked, that would miss. Or do I want to risk it and change my timing and go for a lower hit? And sure, like, if I hit this really low to the ground, it's unsafe, but at least hitting it really low to the ground is a little safer than if I didn't. I mean, there's a question that says, do you think Ultimate will be the last Smash? Sakurai is the only one who can make Smash, and I feel like Nintendo knew that, and that's why they pretty much were like, Sakurai, you have to make Brawl, and Sakurai, blah, 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 you have to do all this stuff. I don't think Sakurai's the kind of person that would teach another team of people to make Smash, because he just assembles a team out of nowhere. And since Smash just pretty much comes out of him, he can join Namco Bandai, he can get help from, you know, this team and that team, and pretty much make a Smash game Smash. So if Nintendo has shown any history in respecting designers like this, that's probably why we don't have an Earthbound, right? The creator was just like, I don't want it to be on this platform, I don't want to reopen the project or whatever, and they usually just respect the designer's wishes. So I feel like Smash Ultimate should just be the game that they stick with. I don't think we need to Smash every 4 years. I think Smash is a game series that can last 5 years plus easy. So I don't know. There's a lot more factors involved, like people actually looking at the sales of Smash and streamers talking about popularity and all this stuff. Like, there's a whole business side to things that I don't really think too much about. So those are just my 2 cents. So what auto canceling does is it makes certain characters poke in certain ways and move in certain ways to optimize and then have a clear risk-reward relationship. It creates lanes just like in Street Fighter, where attacks can go up above each other, poke out the space. If you're trying to hit Sonic's foot, which is something that's completely possible, if he could back air here and be safe, and back air here and be safe, and then back air here and be safe, you know, it's really hard to predict when he's going to back air. But if for the 80% of the time he's going to do this auto cancel back air or this full hot back air, then you have a neat way to be like, okay, I'm going to aim at the spot in between us and maybe kick his leg that's hanging out in midair. Like, that's completely possible, and it's a lot more feasible to see players counter poking like that when there's lanes and clear sort of divisions of space. So auto canceling, when I land here, I have about 4 frames, maybe 2 frames of landing lag. That's faster than L canceling, right? Z canceling is too fast, so we're never going back to Smash 64. But right here, this is fast. Like, and as you can see, this is an auto cancel buffered back air, so I'm doing it as fast as possible. But there's actually a little bit of time where I can fast fall at the top of my arc. I'll show you. So jump, back air, fast fall, and I still auto cancel it because I could run immediately. See that? So even auto canceling it, right? It's not like a frame tight thing. A lot of times for almost every character, you have a little bit of leeway. So that means you can even slightly delay the back air. Like, this is a slight delay back air right there, and I still auto cancel it. So, yeah. Poking out these spaces is important. You get the speed and the ability to stay flexible and attack that you might one out of L canceling, but you get a distinct lane that you're attacking and a punchiness and a clear risk reward system. And it's all created just from tuning the way attacks animate, right? Like you can see Sonic completely wrap up this animation and spin right before he lands on the ground. I'll zoom in to show you in slower motion so you can appreciate the beauty. Oop, no, that's not it. I think that animation is so funny how Sonic looks like a ball and a person. Okay, look at this animation. He twists, and right in the end he goes, untwist. And look at how perfectly that lines up with the ground. And then he lands. That's a perfectly auto-canceled forward air. So what the cool thing about auto-canceling is it's intuitive. It's just like we call it auto-canceling, but the funny part is it's not a cancel at all. It's you not doing anything. It's just you letting your attack wrap up before touching the ground, which is what you might expect should be the case in real life. That's what they call like sticking the landing. It's what they call you know, not falling on your face. It's something that everyone should be able to understand intuitively if they've ever done a somersault or a front flip or anything like that. Yeah. All right. So here's another example of a move I want to show you. Some moves have auto cancels that look like, oh, right when they wrap up and their feet touch the ground, it makes perfect sense. But this is Sonic's up air, and he is completely upside down. Jump up air, and right the frame after. I never saw Sonic's little smile appear. That's hilarious. Right, the frame after this up air's second kick happens, he actually auto cancels. So some moves, I mean, clearly Sonic's completely upside down, so this one doesn't follow the animation rule. But look at that. So this is an example of attack that has a lot of mobility utility, because all you have to do is make sure that second kick comes out, and you're good to go. So look at this. And I just kicked him and ran. I can put the computer on attack, and you can see that I can just kind of pressure shield and then run to the other side, even though completely auto cancel that. Or I can just do one of these. He rolled. Run. So this is a move that, just because of the way they tuned the auto cancel window, has a ton of versatility. As you're falling, you can just be like, I want to up air. Oh, I didn't do it right there. I want to up air right here, and then just walk away. So like, that's speed. And between Sonic's back air that he kind of has to do in a very controlled way, which I'm not doing right now, I'm eating a lot of landing lag. And then his up air that he can do really close to the ground, you've got the ability to, right there. So, Rob didn't up smash me because I was able to auto cancel and walk away. You have a ton of ability to mix up your offense. You have speed, but not universal speed. You have strength, but not strength everywhere. You're somewhat predictable in where you want to attack, but you're not locked into it because there's risk reward. It's not all or nothing. And I feel like this makes auto canceling like way 1,000 times better than L canceling. I mean, just the fact that hitting a button all the time to get to sort of meet everyone's expectations of what your character does, and to be competitive, you have to L cancel. That's already a chore in itself. And then a lot of people are like, well, just make the moves fast and you don't have to hit the button. Well, in Smash 4, yes, some moves are fast, like Sonic's up air is probably faster than any L canceled move in Smash Melee, because it's like 2 or 4 frames right after he kicks of landing lag. So that's already faster, but it's not going to be on every move. And because it's not on every move and it's unevenly distributed across the cast and across their aerial moveset, you get these interesting ways that characters will move in and out of offense, and that differentiates the characters across 60 plus different characters, right? That's super important. So for all the benefits of intuitiveness and flexibility and balance, tuning individual moves is so much easier than going, well, we got a ton of moves in the game, they're all fast now, how do we do it? Like, no, you can expand or shrink the auto cancel window of individual moves. Certain moves like Cloud's down air and Rob's nair have auto cancel while the attack is still out. So like, it doesn't get much more pressure than that. I hit you, and even when I land, no matter if I'm if I'm in that window, I can immediately start running away, keep the pressure going, whatever. That's faster than L canceling. And yet, no one's seeing Rob. I'll show you Rob. No one's like seeing Rob tear up the metagame with his incredible speed pressure because of all the other factors we talked about. His jump height, his. Put you on Cloud. Where are you, Rob? his jump height, his fastfall speed, his size, like all these things give him a powerful tool, but not this like universal way of moving and not this universal application. So Rob, look at this neutral layer. If I do it right here, it doesn't come out. Let's see. Doesn't come out. Doesn't come out. Barely came out. But you see I still have landing lag when I did that. That's landing lag. But if I neutral layer and get the flip to happen, as long as he flips and almost rights itself back up, he can land with the attack box out like that and immediately go into shield. I'll show you the difference slowed down. Jump, oop, jump, neutral layer, fast fall, landing lag. Jump, neutral layer, fast fall after the attack comes out. No landing lag. I went immediately into a spot dodge. Jump, neutral layer, fast fall. That was landing lag. Jump, neutral layer, fast fall, instantly shield. So that's something that can be tuned for individual moves, and I feel like that gives Smash 4 such control over differentiating the characters and making a cool moveset and making every character feel different. It gives players something crisp and precise to aim for, and what I said before in the whole course versus fine control or analog versus digital kind of inputs, having sort of a lane that you slot into in a attack style that kind of you aim for, because that's most optimal most of the time, is your course control. You know, you can just buffer a lot of these moves and kind of aim for that general window. But then your ability to delay your timing or do it early is the fine control. You're like, you know what, instead of doing the auto cancel on the same timing all the time, I'm going to slightly throw things off and do it either slightly early or slightly late. And I think overall that is so much easier for people to understand. Instead of just a flurry of attacks that get L canceled, or when people miss their L canceling, adjust the L canceling height just by like tiny little shifts in their shield height, or where they hit the shield, they delay their timing. That's too imperceptible for viewers to understand, for a lot of players to understand. So having something be a lot more obvious, a lot more discreet, a lot more visual, is just also another superior design element. So come at me if you feel like it. I got design reasons and decisions for everything that I talk about here. Send me questions if you have any. But that is our stream for today on Smash Auto Canceling. So we can kind of go back to the list and check that off. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.